Hello, and welcome to our podcast titled Our World, where we talk all things considering the world, art, entertainment, current events, and more. Today, we will be discussing entertainment and culture. Now, culture and media go hand in hand. The way the culture around us changes influences media and entertainment. This plays a significant role into how our culture reacts and judges certain things, making this crucial. Culture is very influenced by politics, current events, and obviously all kinds of medias of art. The entertainment that our group decided to go over is an album by the 1975 titled A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships, 2 shows titled Modern Family and The Simpsons, and a documentary titled Blackfish. The media that I chose is an album by the 1975 titled A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships. It is an album that came out in 2018. This album is about how social media in general has a lot to do with how relationships have changed. They aren't the same as they were a mere 30 years ago. There's a song titled The Man Who Married a Robot, Love Theme, discussing a man who falls in love with the internet, which is something that is happening now. Young adults and teens love the internet, and they're on it every single day. Because of this, social media plays a huge role in our culture and where our society is today. In the album, there is a protest song. The song is titled Love It If We Made It. This song delves into what went on during 2016, a very politically driven point in time. Protest songs are usually about things in our culture and social issues. Some of these include a very well-known children's song, Yankee Doodle. This song was actually written by British soldiers mocking Americans during the Revolutionary War. Some more well-known protest songs are Lady Gaga's Born This Way, discussing the acceptance of the LGBTQ+ community, and even Kendrick Lamar's All Right, becoming an unofficial title of the Black Lives Matter movement in America. Beyoncé brought feminism into the musical realm in 2014 with her self-titled album and single titled Flawless. And I got this information from The History of American Protest Music from Yankee Doodle to Kendrick Lamar by Bridget Henwood. There are many more, but these are some that are very influential. This album has really brought a warning to people listening to the music. Social media and the internet can be great. It can add a whole lot of amazing stuff to your life, but it comes with a price. Everyone's price for using social media can be different. It depends on the person. Overall, this album puts a whole new light of finding relationships through the internet, which is what a lot of young adults are doing right now in our world.
Good evening, good morning, or good night. My name is Chris Blackshear, and for this portion of the podcast, I will be introducing my project and my type of media. So my type of media is an American sitcom called Modern Family. It's a show that aired on NBC roughly around 2009 and ended in 2020. So the show is about the lives of 3 different types of families, which are all related, either by marriage or by blood. Now, the first family is your average American family, nuclear family with 3 kids. One kid is a jock, the other one is academically gifted, and the last kid who is the oldest kid is your stereotypical bum child. You know, the one that has no job and lives in the basement of the parents. The second family is actually a gay couple who has an adopted daughter from Vietnam. And the last family, which is a very interesting family, it's an older man married to a much younger Colombian immigrant woman and has a kid, but the kid is not his. So it's kind of like that stepfather type role. So in essence, the families are a representation of how far we as a society has come in terms of defining what exactly a family is, whether it can be an older man with a younger woman, or same-sex couple, or just man and woman. Something like this wouldn't be welcomed so lightly had this show been aired 20 years ago. So how this ties with our theme is the acceptance that we're starting to see gay representation, Latin representation on American shows now in the 21st century. So had this been aired like in the 90s or in the 80s, it probably would have been handled or welcomed so lightly. Last but not least, I use some sources, basically just Rotten Tomatoes and just viewer demographics of the type of people that watch this show. And based on my sources, young adults between the ages of 18 and 29 are fanatics of this show. which makes sense because people between the ages of 18 and 29 are most likely to be more open to differences, such as seeing a same sex couple on television. But in essence, this show or the show has adapted to the culture throughout the years because back in '09, the same sex couple was very stereotypical. But now, as the show has adapted and learned and became familiar with the concept of what a realistic same sex couple looks like, they've made it less stereotypical and made it more realistic for the LGBTQ community.
Hi, my name is Peyton Lewis, and the media that I chose is a documentary titled Blackfish, and it's all about the suffering of orca whales that are being held at the Marine Park SeaWorld. It was released in 2013, and it was created by a woman named Gabriella Copperwaite. The film was created in attempts to exploit the park for their wrongdoings by showing evidence of video recordings and prior employee statements. This documentary was one of the first times that animal rights issues were taken globally. Documentaries that were filmed a few decades ago tended to focus on political figures or famous individuals. However, once Blackfish was viewed by the public, the entire culture around these films changed. Once this documentary was produced, many other filmmakers started creating media that made social impacts. In an article titled Documentary Film and the Blackfish Effect, Louis Fios stated, "An inconvenient truth and Super Size Me created new narratives for the public to consider and act upon." This article focuses on how Blackfish really changed the way of documentaries and shed a lot of light on a topic that used to be pushed to the back burner. This film was so impactful that it is now studied not only in film industry, but also in psychology. Now more than ever are documentaries used to shed light on social injustices and relevant issues that are ongoing in our society.
Hi, this is Seven Sims, and my topic was over the long running sitcom created by Matt Groening, The Simpsons, which kickstarted what we call the cartoon renaissance and managed to remain a relevant entity of our culture. The Simpsons is an animated sitcom that depicts the everyday life of the average American family: Homer, the breadwinner; Marge, the housewife; Bart, the mischievous son; Lisa, the intelligent musical prodigy; and Maggie, the baby. The show follows the ins and outs of the whole family, sometimes focusing on one of the members specifically. The sitcom truly captivates the essence of the traditional American family with the help of a satirical comedic twist. Over the years, the show has retained its status and expanded into a franchise in the process. Its awareness of the ever changing media and the culture surrounding that media has allowed them to run for so long. The sitcom is receptive to the critics, and its ability to roll with the change is what has made what we know as The Simpsons. One example of the show's receptive nature is the show's removal of the character of Apu. Many came to believe that this Indian character reflected a negative stereotype that misinterpreted the Indian culture as a whole. The creators nonetheless removed the character to adjust to the media. The source I used emphasizes the evolution of The Simpsons and how its adjustment to the media and culture we live in became its ultimate downfall. The source elaborates on the fact that the show no longer captures the original essence of the sitcom because the same culture that has built it up has watered it down.
Thank you so much for tuning into our podcast, Our World, where we talk all things concerning the world, art, entertainment, current events, and more.